We begin in a peaceful village, a place where nature and simplicity create a harmonious life. Arjun was no ordinary boy. His sharp mind and quick grasp of subjects made him stand out among his peers. But there was one problem. Arjun didn't realize how valuable time was. Instead of focusing on his studies, he spent his days lost in distractions. His parents tried to warn him, reminding him again and again how important time was. But Arjun didn't take their words seriously. Then, reality struck. When the exam results were announced, Arjun faced a bitter truth. His scores were far lower than expected. The praise he once received was gone. His teachers were disappointed, and even his friends began to distance themselves from him. When Arjun returned home, he didn't just see his report card. He saw the disappointment in his parents' eyes. That night, unable to sleep, Arjun turned to the one person he knew would understand, his wise and respected grandfather. Arjun poured his heart out, searching for answers. He didn't understand why he had failed despite being a good student. His grandfather smiled knowingly and spoke with wisdom. The problem wasn't Arjun's intelligence, it was his careless attitude toward time. He explained that time is like a river. Once it flows away, it never comes back. If used wisely, it can take you far, but if wasted, it leaves you behind. Arjun still didn't fully understand. He thought time was always there, something he could use whenever he wanted. His grandfather's face grew serious. He knew Arjun needed to understand the truth before it was too late. And so, his grandfather began a story, a tale of a great king who had everything but wasted his most precious treasure, time. King Vikram spent his days in leisure, wasting time with friends, ignoring his royal duties, and believing he could always do things later. One day, a wise sage visited the king and gave him a warning. But Vikram only laughed. The sage tried to warn him again. But the king refused to listen. Years passed, and the king's kingdom began to weaken. His soldiers were unprepared, and his enemies grew stronger. By the time he realized his mistake, his power had faded. He tried to fix things, but time had already slipped away. Desperate, he searched for the sage, hoping to fix his mistakes. But the sage was gone, just like his lost time. The mighty king who once had everything was now left with nothing but regret. He had learned his lesson, but it was too late. Arjun sat in silence, absorbing the lesson. For the first time, he truly understood how much time he had wasted. He turned to his grandfather with a burning question. Could he still change his life? His grandfather smiled and gave him hope. Time never stops, but as long as you start using it wisely today, you can still change your future. That day, Arjun made a decision. No more wasting time. He created a routine, waking up early and focusing on what truly mattered. He avoided distractions, focused on his studies, and made every moment count. Slowly, his efforts started paying off. When the next exams arrived, Arjun was ready. This time, he had prepared well, and he felt confident as he answered each question. The results were announced, and Arjun's hard work paid off. He had topped his class. His teachers and friends, who had once been disappointed, now looked at him with admiration. At home, his parents saw his report card and their eyes filled with pride. Arjun had proved that by valuing time, he could achieve anything. Arjun's transformation didn't just change his own life, it inspired others. He shared his story with younger students, teaching them the value of time. Years passed, and Arjun's discipline led him to great success. He became a respected businessman, but he never forgot the lesson his grandfather taught him. Time had once been his weakness, but now it was his greatest strength. Arjun had learned that using time wisely is the key to success.